Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Real Arsenal Talk TV. We always forget that last part, but it is there, even though we haven't really incorporated into it. But anyway, that's besides the point. Welcome everyone. Stevie, how are you doing, my friend? How are you on this fine Thursday? Friday? Thursday, I think. Yeah, Thursday.
I am. As I look up to my skylight, Larry, I am better than the weather.
Well, you're obviously better than me as well with the skylight. Wow.
Anyone who can see the skylight.
That's incredible.
There you go.
That's incredible. I love it. I love a bit of a skylight. And the gym gear, by the way, just in case people didn't notice that. I saw the gym gear. I saw he's looking buff. He's looking buff out here. He's looking buff. Stevie, how's it going? You don't need to tense, mate. You don't need to prove nothing. You don't need to prove nothing to anyone.
I'm all good.
Excellent. I mean, obviously we are here for one reason, aren't we? And I was kind of hoping it was going to be a nice midweek chat, because usually the midweek stuff has been quite pleasant to watch and to experience. But like last night, it was the 100 millionth percent the opposite. Like, do you know what I mean? It was just for me, I didn't even want to watch it, by the way. Like, I just wanted to turn it over. I was like, I can't be asked with this match. And it took me ages to find the stream. And by the time I found the stream, I was like, is this what I waited for? This is bullshit. So I don't know how you felt, but for me personally, it was a tough watch, man. It was a tough watch. What do you make of it as an overall?
Man, I think I just sort of second what you've been saying with regards to it was a tough watch and you didn't want to watch it. But it seems to be sort of like an ongoing theme, doesn't it? The way that every podcast we do is negative, because that's unfortunately how we're kind of grinding out results. Yeah, we didn't win, but we didn't get beat. But the performance was questionable again, but obviously I don't really know where to start with it, because there wasn't anything good about it, was there at all? It was just kind of don't get me wrong, the first 5 or 10 minutes when we had like the chance, I think Martin nearly hit the crossbar, didn't he? And I thought, look, we've got a bit of intense here, but our mate Starboy kind of seems to be ruining every pod that we do, because he seems to be the theme that we're focusing on, because and he's getting slated, actually, in a lot of social media outlets and news reports, really, even on mainstream media, things like that. He's getting a lot of stick, isn't he?
I mean, look, for me, what springs to mind, one of Saka's mistakes is just straight from the beginning, when he forced the pass down the middle, obviously I think it was to Eze. And then that got intercepted, and then all of a sudden, Leverkusen, they're on the attack, and Saliba's under pressure. So it's one that was just one instance, and in hindsight, it sort of set the tone for the rest of the match from Saka. Do you know what I mean? Like, it didn't really improve anymore. Like, that was pretty much it. Like, that mistake sort of led to other mistakes, or to sort of other indecisions that, again, we've always been banging on about. And I'm glad that mainstream media are going to question this and question Saka's abilities, especially in the last 2 seasons. Like, I'm not saying that's an overall, but we're talking last 2 seasons. It hasn't been great. It really, well below par for him, or from what we expected from him, because maybe this is his ceiling. Maybe there was too much pressure put on him when he was coming up. I don't know. But yeah, so you're right in saying that he sort of ruined chances, or he slowed play down because he couldn't decide what he wanted to do. And then there's 3 players on him, and you think, right, well, if you thought like 2 seconds before this, you could have put the ball, you could have passed the ball away and then made another run or done something different. But yeah, it was just countless times when our so-called Starboy, like you said, he's making mistakes in the attacking end, and then we're getting put under pressure in the defending. So yeah, from that perspective alone, again, we don't really want to dive too much into like sort of individual players, because it's just going to be sort of repeated a lot amongst all the players that were involved, really. But yeah, just in terms of Saka, we personally, I hate having these conversations about Saka, but he's front and center. He's playing. He's front and center. So we have to talk about it. You know, it's the fucking elephant in the room. And sorry for jumping ahead real quick. Go on.
My mind was thinking on about. I think it might have been. Was it Karen Carney that was commentating last night on TNT?
Yes.
She, I mean, obviously, I'm not a great fan of women's football presenters, as you probably will remember from past pods.
Cancelled.
She kind of was insinuating that Saka's Arsenal's best player and he was having like one off night, and I thought to myself, you know, I don't mind her normally. She just to kind of have something decent to say, and she's quite knowledgeable with regards to Arsenal and football in general. But last night I lost a lot of respect for her because she's obviously not been watching as many games as what we do, and she doesn't understand how we understand it and how we are seeing it. But you know, the mainstream media probably don't watch it, but might have been focused on him for the last few games. I started to realise this, and his stats and obviously things like that, and the eye test is what we go by mainly. It's not great reading, is it? And like I say, I don't want it to be a theme like we say every week. We're talking about Saka. I want us to be saying Saka was brilliant tonight. Saka was brilliant, and he set the goal up. He scored this goal, but it's not. So the theme is because he's not doing it, and we understand that. We can see it. We've been saying it for like nearly 2 years. But recently, everyone else has jumped on the bandwagon, and it's like evident. Now, is it a self-fulfilling prophecy that he now understands that everyone else can see it? So he's not performing. I don't know. It's like that. Someone says, "Oh, you've got
like a paradox,
why are you walking with a limp?" And you're not. But all of a sudden, you sort of feel yourself walking with a limp. Even subconsciously, it's like, I don't know. It's the quantum sort of mechanic dialogue.
The quantum realm that we don't, and we really can't delve into at this point. You know, it's fucking classified stuff. But yeah, I'm going to move on from Saka. But again, I wanted to end that with it was proven when Madueke came on and the chaos that was created. Yeah. So again, the proof is right there. And there's a comment that sat on our YouTube channel that says there's no way on this universe that Noni is better than Saka. Well, I'd hate to say it. This is the time now. This is the universe that we're living in right now. Madueke has had a bigger influence on this Arsenal team than Saka has this season. Right? That's not even like a hot topic. That shouldn't even be taken as like a rage bait. That is the actual truth of the matter. Every time Madueke's played, he may have not been 100%, as we have rightfully said, you know, in other pods. You know, we do appreciate that he's not a 90-minute player. We've said that.
No. Yeah.
But you know, in terms of the influence when he comes on, especially, it's like, well, it was proven last night. You know, the chaos, and if we had someone who could finish better or like who was a bit more alert in the box, because everyone was lethargic, but that's all we needed. We needed someone more alert in the box to put chances away, but we didn't have that. So, and he was the one who got the penalty. So, you know, it was clearly proven. But anyway, like we said, let's just move on from Saka. In terms of the lineup, real quick, any surprises for you, and anything there that you didn't really want to see?
I don't think I like Martinelli starting, especially in Europe. I think he's okay in certain games in the Premiership where you're up against maybe a slow defender or something like that. But yeah, I mean, when you look at the lineup, it kind of always seems to pick itself. Obviously, Eze is in place of Odegaard at the moment because of injury and stuff like that. But yeah, the back four, back five, midfield, it's standard, isn't it? And just getting back to obviously the lineup, it was crying out for Eze, and I think we probably would have comfortably won if Eze had started, just through the lack of passing ability of Saka, because like I say, a lot of his passes did go astray, and they didn't actually make his intended play, or he got tackled or whatever. He just looked totally off it last night. It was probably one of the worst displays I have ever seen. But yeah, I think, you know, if was Trossard injured, I don't know if he was injured or not, but anyway, I would have liked to have seen Jesus start on the left and maybe Madueke start. But look, it is what it is, and you know, the starting 11. Like I say, we don't know what Arteta's thinking. He just picks a team. Everyone's going to be different thoughts on who should start, who shouldn't. You know, and what do we know? Marino.
I honestly, I kind of have to disagree with you on Martinelli, because I genuinely think in Europe he's a lot better than he is in the Premier League, and I think last night it wasn't just him, and he obviously had that chance. He's still a lively player, but I think he obviously needs the support around him to be a bit more free on the left. Do you know what I mean? So he's not the sort of the focal point of the attack. But
did you not think he was running around like aimlessly? He was sort of I remember seeing twice he sort of went round in circles. He had the ball, he could have laid it off. It might have been 2 or 3 players round him, but he sort of like went round in like a 360, and he did that twice, and then ran across the pitch and then laid it off to someone that was just nothing. It was just, and then I watched Man City later on. I mean, I know it's kind of different, and you know, I watched Doku, and I watched how Savinho and Cherky and that played, and it's chalk and cheese, isn't it? It's like, you know, they're direct and they cause chaos. Martinelli just runs down one angle, turns round, 360s, goes across. And I don't know, mate. I know what you're saying. You know, he is better suited to European games because they do allow him more space, but he was hopeless, I thought, yesterday. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's not the perfect player. You know, that's fair to say. He's not the perfect player, but I just feel like the European game suits him a little bit more. And I think for Martinelli, I think it was a bit more of an off night last night. You know, I could say that more for him than any other player, because he has been very good for us, at the very least in Europe. So, but again, what was the other choice? We didn't have a choice. But Trossard was injured from the Mansfield match. He picked up that knock, so he was left. He wasn't even on the bench. And yeah, so you know, who else are you going to put? You're going to put Jesus on the left. Is that the experiment that you want to play in a Champions League match, or do you want to go with something a bit more proven and someone who has been quite good for us in Europe this season? So I feel like Martinelli kind of picks himself when it comes to Champions League because of because of his return, but. You know, the alternative is that we have no one, really. You know, you can't really put Eze there unless, if you're going to put Eze there, you have to put Havertz in the Odegaard role, and then obviously you've got Havertz playing pretty much a full match sort of thing, because you've got no one else to replace, you know, if you want to substitute for that Odegaard role, for the number 10 role sort of thing. So yeah, it's difficult because there's some players that we miss who are very versatile, who can fill gaps, but obviously because of the injuries, they're already preoccupied, and it's a problem. It really is a problem. Even with the big squad, it's still affecting us, and especially right now, we're feeling it more because of performances like that. And you sort of think, for fuck's sake, it's because of the injuries and this and that. It's like, well, you know. Yes and no, isn't it? You know, you can't just pin it all on the injuries. It's tactically as well, and I feel we weren't negative against Leverkusen because we did have attack. We were sort of attacking, maybe not great, but you know, we were attacking. So it wasn't sort of like a low block type of defense. It was. But again, there was no one there, Stevie. Who else? Who's going to be scoring? Who's scoring the goals? And Gyökeres didn't have like the worst game, but he didn't have a very good game. I mean, let's face it. You know, it's like it's Europe. This is supposed to be your stomping ground, sort of thing. So disappointed more than anything else because there's an opportunity there just to sort of end the tie right there and then. And it's not like Leverkusen were fantastic. It's just we were very disorganized when it came to defending. I feel, you know, it was sloppy from us. That's what it was defensively. It was very sloppy. And again, there was a couple of times where what was his face? Kanafe, was it Kanafe? Is it
which one?
Kafana, the striker.
He was good.
Is it Kafana? Yeah. So he gave, you know, he did some. Yeah, Kafana.
19 years old. He was good.
Yeah, he did. You know, he did well against Saliba, and I felt like he was.
Both of them.
Yeah, exactly. He was a dangerous player. So it was. I don't want to say this because again, it makes us seem like we were 100% in control. But it sort of felt like a match where they sort of stepped back a little bit just to be like, do you know what? We can maybe afford to sit back a little bit and not give 100% here, and we can come away with something. I'm not saying that was the thought, by the way, but that's watching it. That's the sort of match that it felt like. Do you know what I mean? It felt like a pre-season match against Leverkusen, and yeah, I hope going back to the Emirates, I hope that's, this won't. If we put away 2 chances, it's 2-0, and do they score? Do they come back? And we go to the Emirates obviously with an advantage. But right now it's sort of like, yeah, all right, it's just another match now, isn't it? It's not like the second leg; it's just the replay of the first match because being a draw. So, yeah, look, I don't think there's sort of individuals that I want to blame because there isn't individuals. I think everyone had a below par across the board, really, and I don't know if you agree with that or not, but that's the way I saw it. It wasn't, even our passing wasn't up to standard, man. It was, yeah, we put ourselves in some pressure as well, like I said with Saka at the beginning of the pod. That's prime example of just giving the ball away and then them catching us in transition. But yeah, look, I mean, is there anything positive that we want to take from Leverkusen?
No, not really, man. I'm struggling to find anything positive because although we started off quite good and we had a couple of chances, should I say, our passing was pretty sharp in the first 10 minutes. But what I did notice was, and it's been a criticism of me and probably a few other pundits throughout the season, that we don't seem to pass it fast enough. It's like we always seem to have like 1 or 2, maybe 3 touches, and then the other opposition gets in position and in place and set and stuff like that. But I did notice in the first 5 or 10 minutes there was quite a lot of one-touch football, and I watched it again. I watched Liverpool play against Galatasaray the previous night, and very similar sort of thing. When I know it was Galatasaray at the time, but it was Newcastle, Barcelona. I think that was what I was trying to refer to. One-touch football works perfect, and it's so pleasing to watch, and it's so effective. And we were doing that in the first 10 minutes, but then we sort of lost our way. I think it might have been when Martinelli hit the crossbar, and after that we just seemed to lose our way and we couldn't string 2 or 3 passes together, or we were getting caught out of possession. But yeah, I think you're right. I think we dominated virtually the first half. I think we were really in control. It was just a matter of time before we'd score. And then obviously out of the blue they get there. I mean, obviously Raya did a good save initially from the first shot, because the caught us unaware really after the break. We were still sleeping, and I don't like that. You've got to, in Europe, you can do it in the Premiership against lower opposition, but in the Champions League, the level is so much higher. Even for these teams like they're not great in Germany, but they've got the joint best defence in the league with Bayern, I believe. So they've got a really good defence, so they're really hard to break down. But we just need to be switched on, and what positives can I bring out of it? We didn't get beat, mate. That's the only positive at this moment in time.
That's a fair one, and again, you can't argue with that. It makes total sense. And I mean, even before the goal, obviously that came from a set piece, well, didn't it? Did it come from a set piece? I think
the corner, yeah.
Yeah, it was corner, wasn't it? Yeah. So before that, obviously they had a chance as well, headed in the box. Again, it's very uncharacteristic of Arsenal defenders, especially when you consider you've got Gabriel and Saliba in your centre backs, and they're sort of getting beat in the air, or they're not being quick enough to get to the ball in the air, and that worries me. I think once you see that, you think, okay, yeah, now we look a bit vulnerable now, because if Saliba and Gabriel can be penetrated or close to, we get very vulnerable and sort of like start playing back, and it's like, okay, we have to keep a clean sheet, or we can't score a goal, but then we can't concede a goal, but then you forget that, oh shit, we actually have to go and score a goal. Do you know what I mean? So it becomes like a vicious cycle. That's the way it seems anyway. Every time they struggle, the whole team just sort of falls back, and it's just like, well, they're big boys now. They can handle themselves. They will have mistakes in them now and again. So just let them do the thing. But yeah, again, very uncharacteristic from both centre backs, because they're putting a lot of crosses. Leverkusen, they're putting a lot of crosses. Some of them obviously were quite dangerous. Some of them just didn't lead to anything. But yeah, obviously the goal. It's a set piece and right at the back post. And I think, who was that? Was it Eze at the back post marking?
I think he got fouled. I don't think it was Eze. I think it was Zubamendi possibly, but I think Eze was impeded. But for such a strong guy, I think I looked at it a couple of times and I thought, is he to blame? I know obviously we mentioned it on text and stuff like that, but I'm sure he got impeded. And just sort of blocked off, kind of. But yeah, he was a bit weak. But we you know, it was well worked. You know what I mean? It was a well worked corner. You know, he was free at the back post, and that should never happen.
No. I'm just trying to watch it back now, and yeah, it looks like he was impeded by another player. Looks like it was tripped, and then obviously, you know, that's why he never got to the.
If you look at one of the guys, he sort of does that.
Yeah.
Shoulder barges whoever it is, and then sort of looks as though, you know, he's innocent.
And again, isn't that like the second shoulder barge that they got away with? Didn't someone shoulder barge Gyökeres, and he was already on a yellow or some shit?
Yeah.
So you know, it's
the one who scored was Anchorage or something.
Andrick, wasn't it? Andrick, I think he was the captain, wasn't he? But yeah, again, not really great. But I can see, you know, if it was sort of overturned, you could kind of see why it would be overturned. You know what I mean? But either way, it's again, it was a bit of vulnerability from our end. It was a bit of weakness. You know, we weren't on it. That's pretty much it. Because I mean, it's not like Andrick just came out of nowhere. Like you know, there was a lot of space at the back post, so obviously someone was going to go in there, and Eze could have been there first. You know, he could have already seen that. It's like, all right, okay, I'm going to cover or shout with someone else to cover. Again, hindsight, of course. It's easy to say now, but yeah. So it's 1-0, and it wasn't really a surprise, but not because they were playing so well. It was because we were. I'm going to use the word lethargic. We were very, very slow to everything. So I wasn't surprised that they scored. The set piece, a little bit on the, again, that was surprising because you beating Arsenal at set pieces, but it was sort of coming really. But yeah, they had a couple of chances. Like I said, that Kanafe, he had a couple of digs. Raya was, you know, it wasn't sort of tested to the, he wasn't stretched or anything like that, but he had a decent game. Apart from obviously the goal that wasn't really his fault. He couldn't really do much with that. But yeah, second half they started really lively. They started coming out as we dropped back as usual because we got scared. And I feel like that's probably the reason. I don't think that was a tactical thing. That was just because we were scared. And it's like, oh shit, we can't lose this match. And yeah, look, you know, in stats wise, it wasn't huge difference between the two teams. They did have 10 shots against our 6, 3 on target versus 2. So again, we weren't at our best, right? And for whatever reason that may be, I don't know what the excuses are, but I'm not happy. I wouldn't be happy with excuses, to be honest. Because
I thought that I don't think there's any excuses. What I did take from most of the game, what I saw was the ref was really poor, and he had a bit of a yellow card frenzy at one point, particularly on our defenders because they all were on the yellow cards. Now I think that dampened our impetus a lot because, you know, especially Saliba and Hincapié, who are kind of ball carrying defenders where they like to come out of defence, and I think with them getting yellow cards, I think it really did it. It sort of affected our build-up play. Now whether that is the cynic in me coming out and conspiracy theorist of, you know, was the ref told to do this to keep, you know, check on? I don't know.
Yeah,
but
I mean, that doesn't sound like
yellow
you.
Cards.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like you, Steve. You know, that's not you at all. But I mean,
do you know what I mean, though?
To be fair,
know what I mean with the yellow cards? Because we're all on yellow cards for no reason.
The ref gave
Mendy as well.
He gave a yellow card in the second minute to Andrick, you know, from Leverkusen, and you think second minute yellow card. I mean, I can't remember what he even did, to be honest. Was it that bad?
He pulled Gyökeres down. It was a yellow card.
Was it a yellow card?
Definitely.
In the second minute, though, was it worth the second? Was it worth the yellow card? I'm just saying. Sorry, I'm just saying.
Just
because
outside the box, wasn't he? No, I think it definitely was a yellow card.
Fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. Okay,
he would have been in on goal possibly.
And then obviously you got Martinelli, who got yellow carded as well. And then Zubimendi. But for me, the question that I have in terms of the ref, because he did give out quite a bit. I think there was like 7 or 8 yellow cards in this match. The one that I have a problem with, right, is Kai Havertz. Like, what the fuck did he get a yellow for? do you even know?
Yeah. Well, he was getting pulled, wasn't he?
He wasn't even.
The ref.
Yeah, exactly.
He wasn't touching it. It was the other way around. That other guy had hold of him, and he was looking at the ball. So how could it be him? It's absolute. That's what I mean. The ref ruined it. I think it was pathetic.
That sort of sealed the ref's fate, to be honest. But did you know that this ref was the ref that got punched in Turkey? Do you remember that? Yeah, this is the ref that the sort of the football director of a club, I can't remember who it was, ran on the pitch and actually punched this ref in the face. Yeah, so
why are we getting lumbered with him? We won. We topped the group. We should have
the best ref. Yeah, we should have the best ref. But again, it's Arsenal, Leverkusen. There was other matches like even Newcastle, Barcelona is a little bit bigger than Arsenal, Leverkusen.
Possibly.
I'm just saying, in terms of spectacle wise, you're talking Newcastle versus Barcelona. You know, Newcastle.
Oh yeah, man.
As you know, is the Barcelona of the Northeast. So. You know.
To be fair, I watched it out. It's a good game. It's a good game.
Yeah, no, it was a good game. I think. Well, we'll get to the moment of the week anyway. But so yeah. Look, it's 1-0, and then the changes are made 60th minute. I feel like that could have been made at the second half. You know, Madueke for Saka. Saka for Madueke. I think that could have been done a lot earlier, to be honest with you. But either way, 60th minute.
Well done to Arteta for actually seeing it, and realising what everyone else probably was realising. So well done, Mikel.
Well done, fantastic. You know, fantastic job with the money that you get paid and stuff. So yeah, he comes on, and then honestly, that's when I think we sort of come alive a little bit more. There wasn't really much in terms of chances. That's not what I'm saying. It's just the fact that he was very positive with every time he had the ball, he was just head down, ready to run. Do you know what I mean? And when I say head down,
he was confident, wasn't he? I think he sensed it. He was confident last night.
Exactly. Again, the thing is, some players can just feel that, and that's why I say about Martinelli, he can feel the European night, so he'll step up. But again, across the whole board, the whole team was pretty poor. Not something that I want to see again. I feel like I've said that how many times this season, right? but yeah, so he comes on, he causes a lot of fucking chaos, and eventually, you know, he gets a penalty. He earned that penalty. But before that, I mean, before we get into the penalty, what did you think, like, in sort of watching it live, did you think that was a penalty? Did you have any doubts? And then watching replays?
You always have doubts because as an Arsenal fan, you kind of become accustomed to being disappointed. So when I watched it live, I thought, God, it's got to be a penalty. More in hope, really. And then you watch one angle and it's like, ooh, I'm not sure. And you're kind of looking for a foot, and you know it was a foul, don't get me wrong, but I think it was quite soft. But at the end of the day, it was a foul, and if we'd had conceded it, I think we couldn't have any arguments. So yeah, I think the fact that it was in the 89th minute, which would have been a right pisser for anyone conceding, a bit like obviously Newcastle. But no, I think looking back, it was soft, but it was definitely a penalty. Yeah, so yeah, well done. But I'm not sure about Kai taking it. He looked well. I say he didn't look confident. It didn't actually take it. It wasn't a convincing penalty, was it? I think if the keeper, I mean, wasn't right in the corner. It was to the keeper. The keeper went the right way. I think it was just the speed of it actually beat him, because I thought, you know what, I would have preferred Gyökeres to take it or someone else, but Kai is a good penalty to take it at the end of the day. He is quite confident, but obviously he's not played many games, so then you start thinking, is he going to be sort of match ready? I don't know, but at the end of the day, we won. We scored it, so
yeah,
that's all that matters, isn't
it? Like you, I think, I mean, probably many Arsenal fans, to be honest, and you know, it was surprising that Kai stepped up. But then who else would take it? Saka was off, Gyökeres was off, Rice could take it. Maybe he was too knackered to actually take a penalty. Yeah. Again, I'm just speculating. I don't know. They're professionals. I'm sure they could actually step up and take a penalty. But yeah, watching Kai, and then obviously you add the factor of former Leverkusen player, spent a long time there. Like I think it was like 10 years he spent there. You know, all the emotions and stuff, so everything adds up. And of course, I mean, but I'll be honest, I didn't feel like he was gonna have a problem with it. I just felt like just before he stepped up, I was like, I just question is if he is the right guy. But once he stepped up, I was like, you know what, I think he will put this away, because he's quite cool like that in that sort of pressured environment, and he's proven that before. And look, yeah, it wasn't like the most convincing, but he put it away. He made it seem simple. But yes, of course, the keeper went the right way, and it could have just as easily gone. He could have just as easily saved it. So, but yeah, he puts it away 1-1, and I don't even want to say game on, because it really wasn't, was it? It was sort of like both teams were like, oh, for fuck's sake, I thought this was over. But yeah, so we didn't really we pressured them up until the very last minutes. I feel, after we scored the goal,
he had a header, didn't he?
He did before.
And I was like,
that was before.
Why the fuck? He seems to do it all. He never scores. What's he doing there?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he's there and no one else is there, but he did it a few times this season where he's been there and it's gone over. He's just shit with his head.
Yeah. He finds himself.
I know he scored one actually. He scored against. Who was it again? Who did he score? He scored, didn't he? In the cup. Was it the cup against?
Was it Wigan?
Mansfield?
Wigan?
No,
not
he
Wigan,
scored a header, didn't he?
Portsmouth. Was it Portsmouth?
No, Chelsea.
Did he score against Chelsea? I can't remember that. Anyway, it was a long time ago, Stevie. It's we've got way too many Champions League matches. We've got way too many Champions League matches. It's too much.
You need to suss it out on Google.
It's too much.
I'm sure it was against Chelsea. It was recently. He's got like a header through a ruck of players. Was it Chelsea?
Hold on. Let me find for you.
Lemons. I'm sure it was against Chelsea.
So Timber, here we go. Let me have a look. We're going to find out right now, Stevie, because now
I think I'm going to go Chelsea. Am I right?
So Saliba scores first, and then Reece James, and then it's your boy Timber, yeah. But it was like in the melee of. Oh no, it was actually it was right at the front post, wasn't he? And he sort of like headed it in, sort of thing. Cool. There you go. Happy days. Yeah, you were right. So what?
Yo.
You are the Arsenal historian. I'm just a guy who does the greeting at the beginning of the podcast. To be honest, I'm the colour commentary. So fuck it. But yeah, so 1-1 at that point for me, it was kind of like, right, I'm glad that we've got a point. Let's don't risk it too much to try and win it. Because they still looked dangerous, like on the counter, they still were ready to go. So, what do you make after the goal? What did you think, by the way? Like, did you think we could potentially go and win it, or was it just like over for you and you're just waiting for the final whistle?
No, if you can salvage a point from being 1-0 down for virtually 45 minutes, then it's great. Why risk going for an extra, because then they'll have to sit back. They can sit back when they play us and get us on the counter-attack when they come to the Emirates. So, no, I think I was happy with the point in the end. But do you think we'll go through? I mean, as much as we've got home advantage, it'll be pretty dangerous at our place, won't it, next week? And that's my concern. Do you think we'll go through?
I think we will, and I think we're gonna be better at the Emirates against them. To be honest, I think it's gonna be a good scoreline for us. I think, and
did we beat them in the group stage? Did we play them in the group stage? Or was that last year in this friendly or something?
I think that was last year in the friendly, wasn't it? Not last year in the friendly. It was this year in the friendly, wasn't it? Yeah, it was this year in the friendly. We beat Leverkusen. But again, how much can you compare the two, really? Do you know what I'm saying? Like competitive Champions League match versus a friendly. So I feel we'll be a lot better at the Emirates, and I feel like the scoreline will probably be like a 3-0 sort of thing. But speaking of that, I did predict the 1-1. It was just like the first thing that popped into my head.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah,
3-0 was the first thing that popped into my head this time.
Psychic Larry.
There you go. But yeah, look, in terms of the overall match, then at the end, I just don't want to see the same thing at the Emirates, really. I don't want them to be that sort of laid back. I want them to fully go on for it. And like you said, I watched some of the Real Madrid match. They put 3 past City. Valverde was brilliant. They were, oh my God, the attacking play. Hammered. The attacking play was just tremendous to watch, by the way, from them, from PSG, even Chelsea, when they were 2-2 sort of thing, like the back and forth. It was such a good open play game. It was fantastic. Obviously, Tottenham, that's a whole different story because they were just absolutely shit for the first 15 minutes. It was just terrible to watch.
Didn't every English team lose in the Champions League apart from Newcastle?
Apart from us as well. We didn't lose.
It was a Newcastle, yeah. So every other, so Spuds, which you knew they were going to get beat.
Liverpool,
Chelsea, we're doing well. To be fair, Chelsea 2-2, and then they just capitulated in the last couple of minutes.
They did, yeah.
Obviously, City got hammered, which. I was watching the majority of that game, and I was very impressed. But at the same time, City. I mean, Doku looks he's so frightening. I think when they play us, if he's on fire, I think he'll get beat. But he just looks like an animal, different animal. He's electric, isn't he? That's how I can sort of describe him. And if it wasn't for the way Madrid were, because they played perfect one touch football, and the cut through City, and what great finishes. I think all three of them were great finishes. I mean, the first one he went around Donnarumma, but the second two finishes were just out of this world. I thought they were absolutely brilliant. Yeah,
I mean, Valverde with the hat trick was just was class to see, to be honest. And they were schooled. They were absolutely schooled in terms of how to play exciting and dangerous football. But
are you glad it was 3 and not 4? Because if it was 4, I think that's tie over, isn't it? I want City to have something to be focused on for next week, because obviously they play West Ham. I know they'll probably beat West Ham, because that's what normally happens. They get beat. They get beat, then they take it out on the next team. But I'm hoping that I think 3-0. I mean, Pep's saying it's over, but it's not, is it? I still think they can beat them 3-0 at their place.
I think they could, but I feel like it just didn't seem like the Madrid that we faced last season. You know what I mean? It just seemed like a very different, a bit more organised Madrid. Yeah. So they could just go there and they could just be like, right, well, we don't need to really play for anything. But obviously guaranteed that City will 100% throw everything at that match and trying to get the first goal. If that's the case, then absolutely tie wide open. But not over, no. But you're right in saying if it's something for them to look forward to, and an extra sort of, what's it called, extra games for them. But at the same time, it'll be funny to watch them get knocked out of the Champions League. So which one do I want? Let us beat them in the Carabao first, and then we'll talk about it. So that's... my whole thought was about the attacking football, and it was just so good to see. And if we perform the way we did against Leverkusen, against any of these other teams in the next rounds, we are going to be absolutely fucked. Like, fuck. I think Bodo Glimt would probably slap us. They slapped Sporting 3-0.
They did, didn't they? We play them now. If we get through, we play
them next.
Whoever, don't we?
Yeah.
I think they'll beat us.
No, I don't think so. No, I'm sorry.
They beat City, didn't they? Home and away.
They did, but I don't think they'll beat us. I'll be honest. I don't think.
Because they've got that artificial turf, haven't they, for a home? I'm sure they. So
we'll smash them at the Emirates 7-0, and then we'll go over there and just let them score 3. It's fine. It's done. But I don't think they'll beat us, to be honest with you. I don't think.
Don't you?
But then again, shit. Like, anything can happen in football, man. It could be the whole Leicester City. If Bodo Glimt win and Arsenal don't because they got knocked out by Bodo Glimt. I couldn't.
Mate,
I don't even. There's a bin right there. I'm just going to literally put a bin over my head and just walk around fucking work and.
It's written, mate. It's written.
It's terrible. It's terrible. But yeah. Look, is there anything else you want to add for the match, or can we leave it there?
I think we should just leave it there. I mean, nothing. Like you say, there's nothing really to say right home about. Same old as a performance wise. Yeah. So
moment of the week. Moment of the week. Sorry.
Rest of the team.
This is the moment of the week for all you Gaylords.
Moment of the week. I'll let you have to take the floor with this one, Larry.
Okay. So moment of the week for me has to be Tottenham goalkeeper getting subbed off after the third goal. I laughed. Honestly, I laughed so hard. I was like, oh my God, this is happening. This is so funny. But at the same time, I took a step back and I was like, well, that's a bit fucking harsh, that, like, subbing him off after 15 minutes. That's a bit harsh. 17 minutes, sorry. It's a bit, what is it with you and the timekeeping, by the way? You should fucking work for fucking Rolex or some shit. Go work for the FIA or something. Do you know what I mean? Keep perfect timing. But yeah, to sub him off, I feel like it was a bit harsh. The first slip, it happens because all the players were slipping.
The second one, Van de Ven was all over the place.
Yeah, but it was because of him. That's why, obviously, he put him under pressure for the third goal, wasn't it? So, but yeah, I thought it was a bit harsh, to be fair. But yeah, that was the moment of the week for me. It was funny to see Spurs do that.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. But the moment of the week was obviously City getting hammered.
That's also
3-0 because. Everyone was expecting them to actually beat Madrid. They were odds on to win that game, and they did it without Mbappe and Bellingham. So for me, it's just a knock to their confidence. Whether it'll make them stronger, who knows? What City like, but I just think that was my moment of the week, as well as obviously the Spuds keeper going. Bless him. Why did he? I mean, I know that the Premiership's the most important thing for Tottenham to stay in, and there was talk that he was going to change the whole team, but he didn't really change the whole team bar on the keeper, and I think that was a completely idiotic move from Tudor, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know, taking your keeper out but leaving the majority of your team, wasn't he?
I don't like to agree with Jamie O'Hara for anything really. Like, it doesn't for anything at all, right? I'm probably going to delete this. I'm going to delete this at some point because of just saying it. But he was right in questioning Igor Tudor's fucking decision of A, picking that goalkeeper, and B, not sticking with him and just completely. You might as well just told him in front of everyone in that stadium, took a microphone and said, "You're shit, you're never playing again." Right? You might as well just said that. It would have been less embarrassing. But yeah, and the fact that he didn't sort of console him right at the end when he was walking off, I felt like that was out of touch. And a bit out of order as well, to be honest, because he's a young keeper and you've just absolutely shattered his confidence with what you've just done right there. So, but yeah, that was definitely the moment of the week for me, and just Tottenham imploding in the first few minutes of the match and going 4-0 down. So, fun times. But and last thing, by the way, in terms of if we ever start doing player of the week, for me it has to be Kvaratskhelia. I think he is just amazing. Like, I have dreams of him in an Arsenal shirt. Right, that's how good this guy is. And yeah, I hope to God the rumours that Fabrizio's been putting out, I hope they are true. I hope we pay the money for him, because he is exactly what we need as our starting left winger. As we've been banging on about all this season, by the way, like especially me and you on this podcast, we've been banging on because we do not have starters. He is the guy, like the man for the job. He is our Alexis Sanchez, by the way.
Yeah, he's a what?
Our Alexis Sanchez. Like the next Alexis Sanchez or replacement.
Yeah, absolutely awesome, mate. No, I think you're right. He could be like Alexis Sanchez stroke Overmars type player, because he's technically excellent. You know, very tricky, can beat a man, got a lot of skills. You know, fantastic. But I think the rumours. I mean, we'd be lucky to get him, to be fair, unless we get the deal already sewn up. I don't know. I mean, my ideal window would be, look, keep everyone we've got to a degree. Obviously, sell a bit of the dead wood just to create a bit of money. But our two summer signings have got to be Kvaratskhelia, whatever it's called, and Kvaratskhelia, and Alvarez for me. That would be my dream summer.
The microphone hasn't broken. No, it hasn't broken. I am absolutely speechless in what you've just said right there, because I'm just picturing that team. Yeah. It makes me happy to no end, right? You can see my happiness. I've even closed my eyes just to imagine that. It's just brilliant. I'll be honest, I think that's a bit too ambitious for the club.
It is, but if we tried just for those two, whether it would be 200 million, that's easily achievable.
We need to compete. And that's the way to compete. Do you know what I mean? You need to spend money, and not just every 5 years. You need to spend, unfortunately, we're at a stage where you need to spend money every year to like improve something. But obviously I understand that you need to sell players on. And by all means, Trossard, Martinelli, Odegaard, get fucking rid of them, man. I'm not advocating, if someone came in for Saka, if it's not a Premier League team that came in for Saka, sell him off. Any Premier League team, absolutely not. It'll only be like
I just don't want anyone else I don't want us to be linked with this, like Kvaratskhelia and Alvarez. I don't want anyone else to be linked with him, or I don't want us to be linked with him and then someone else buy him, buy them, because that would piss me off even more. We get some like kind of no mark potential guy. Yeah, which we don't really want. Brazil. Right now. Yeah, we don't really care for that. I don't care for some 17-year-old Brazilian who played for Bristol or some shit. Don't care for him, mate. So no, I hope to God that is, if the club is ambitious enough, that is the way to go. You need to spend the money, and those are the two perfect examples. I don't care if we just brought Gyökeres, right? Gyökeres needs to understand, shit, bro. You need to, if you don't step up next season, right? You need to, you know, they have grounds to get rid of you, because there's no reason to keep you around. We could have another Eddie Nketiah just straight from our academy. Do you know what I mean? Like, we don't need that type of player. But if you get Alvarez in and you get Kvaratskhelia in, I think, I don't want to say guaranteed, obviously win the league, because that's just, you know, childish stuff, but that's a very strong team going forward, if obviously everyone healthy. Yeah, it's a team that gives you a bit of hope that we can compete. No, it's not guaranteed to win anything, but it'll give you hope that we can guarantee you could be potentially there or thereabouts with those sort of additions and the sprinkling of what we've already got, and potentially obviously the backups and stuff like that. But I mean, it's like sort of dreamland, isn't it? If we can keep the majority of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, let's wait and see. And if we've got nothing else to add, by the way, mate, we'll leave it there.
Yeah. Prediction for the weekend?
Ooh, the most important part. Right, okay. Predictions. We play Everton, did you say, yeah?
Yes.
And what time are we playing Everton? Is it 5:30?
It is 17:30 p.m.
17:30 p.m.
Standard Time, yes.
Of course,
GMT.
17:30 p.m. First thing that pops into my head is... Oh, God, no, I hope that's not the case. First thing that popped into my head was 3-1 Everton. Oh, my God, no. What am I saying?
Can you see my score?
2-1, says Stevie. Do you know what? I'm gonna go 3-1 Arsenal. You get me?
Wow.
In my first vision, it was 3-1 Everton. So I'm just gonna flip that round to 3-1 Arsenal because it makes more sense. But if it is 3-1 Everton, by the way, then I am a witch.
Witch? I'm
a wizard. I'm a visiting wizard. So yeah,
I just think if we get beat or draw, what a fucking waste and anticlimax that was last week when Ross Forest actually got the draw, because Man City will know what they have to do, won't they, when they go to West Ham? We need to put the pressure on. We need to go 10 points clear if we beat West Ham.
Yeah.
And that's significant. And if they slip up again at West Ham, I think that's it. I think it's done. If we beat Everton and they slip up, it's done.
That's fair. I can agree to that. To be fair, but let's it's very. I don't want to say rare because that's not the case, but it's just difficult to see City getting beat or West Ham getting a draw. Do you know what I mean? Considering how their season has been. Yeah. But then again, they did beat Brentford in the FA Cup, didn't they? Recently, throughout the week.
Yeah, Monday.
Yeah, on Monday, wasn't it? So yeah, they could be on a high from that. It's like, all right, shit, let's go. We know we can play. Let's bring this attitude.
Because they're still third bottom at the end of the day, so they do need every point they can get.
Exactly. A relegation is just as important as the champion, as the actual lead at this point. So yeah, absolutely, they will fight, and it doesn't matter if it's City or whoever. They're not going to do a Tottenham and be like, oh well, because you facing Arsenal at some point, we're going to do you a favour. They're not going to be that stupid team, and that team is Karma. Karma's come back around and slapped them in the face, hasn't it? Tottenham. So
yeah,
but yeah, so I hope West Ham help us out a little bit, but let's see.
I can't see it. Not with the firepower City you've got, and
on the vengeful.
They're
going to be vengeful, aren't they? Like
after that 100%.
So. Oh, you think you can score 3 goals on me? I'm a bitch on West Ham. Like, all right, that's not how it works. Bitch on fucking Real Madrid, man. Next week. Is it next week? The Champions League? It is.
Yeah.
So we played
Tuesday, I think.
Are we on Prime or?
I'm not sure. I wouldn't have thought so. I think it will be probably one of the glamour ties.
Oh, yeah, all right.
We'll see. We'll still find it.
Cool.
Quickly before we end the pod, what about our draw for the FA Cup? We've got the Saints. Go marching on.
And
should beat them, shouldn't we?
I think we should do well against Southampton. But again, look, it's a cup match, man, and these teams, for some of these teams, this is their Champions League, to win the FA Cup, for example. Like for Southampton, if they win the FA Cup and they're still in the Championship sort of thing, then that is...
It's a quarters, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's...
So it's a chance to go at Wembley, isn't it? Because I think both semis are played at Wembley, aren't they?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. So that's what I mean. It's something for them. Like, it's more of a big deal for them than it is for us when you look at it that way. But at the same time, I hope that's not how our team looks at this match. Do you know what I mean? I hope they don't neglect it. Start fucking putting salmon and fucking sea bass. No, what's his name?
Salmon and cod.
No, Max Dowman. That's the one. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's good. He's very good. Don't get me wrong. But obviously, you can't really start with those players only. You need the sort of team around them because it is a quarterfinal. It is time to take it seriously. Do you know what I'm saying? Doesn't matter the opponent. It is time to take it seriously. And obviously, it's funny to see City versus Liverpool in that tie, so in that round.
Yeah, I love that. But my theory on this is hear me out. So
City,
I love the
Arsenal
fact
final.
I love the fact that big teams are drawing together. So obviously City drew Newcastle in the last round, and now they've drawn Liverpool, which is fantastic because at least one of them is going to be eliminated, right? But my thought on that is, like, if you play better teams, you raise your level, right? Now, when I used to play football, if I used to beat mediocre teams, I didn't learn anything. I didn't sort of gain anything. I didn't feel as though I was better than myself. But when you play against better opposition and you can sense that they're better than you raise your game and you're learning from the people. And I think with Liverpool and City, and I think obviously with Man City playing Madrid last night, their levels raised ready for West Ham. Right, we've played Leverkusen. Now our level will be raised for Everton, so we're probably both likely to win. But with Liverpool and City playing the FA Cup, that's just making City kind of better each game. I know it's harder because they could potentially get knocked out, but they're raising their game, so they're focused every game for all these hard games, which my theory is it'll benefit them in the running.
Wouldn't that also contribute to the fatigue because they're playing harder games? Like, say for example,
not when with this.
But I'm just saying that.
Yeah, possibly.
If the FA Cup tie goes to like 120 minutes and then penalties, I mean, that's going to take a lot out of them, right? So yeah,
not much.
I get what you're saying. They can learn, but it's it's not like the first time they'll be facing Liverpool this season. They've faced Liverpool before, and then at this, I feel like at this stage when they do face each other in the FA Cup in the next round, I feel like they kind of know how each other's playing. So maybe even Liverpool, they haven't been great. They haven't been that good this season, Liverpool. You know that yourself. From the matches that we've seen, they haven't been that good. Whereas City have been up and down, but they've sort of been a little bit more consistently better than Liverpool. So I don't feel like it's them raising the level. I feel like it's sort of maybe even dropping it down a little bit just to be like, right, okay, yes, it is Liverpool, but there are many ways to get at them. Whereas there's not that many ways to get at us, sort of thing. Do you know what I'm saying? Both teams have been defensively very unstable. Like that's that's not even up for debate. However, it's their attacker midfield and attackers that are the problem. They are the ones that are obviously winning games, which is unfortunately what we're lacking on. We've got the defensive midfielders and the centre backs, but we don't have the front. So Cool. Right. I'll tell you what, then we'll leave it there. We will be back over the weekend. There is a F1 race in China as well, so we'll do a quick recap of that.
Does that one start at 7 a.m? It's an hour later, isn't it? So I might get up for that one early. I'm not sure.
So do you know what? That is a good point because I do need to check it because I'm usually up obviously early because of the little one anyway. So let me just quickly have a look. So Friday 13th tomorrow. Great start. Practice 1, 3:30, 4:30. Qualifying 7:30 till 8:15. So yeah.
Is that Saturday morning?
That's Friday morning. So tomorrow morning.
Qualifying.
Yeah, 7th sprint qualifying.
And then what's race qualifying? Is that 7:30 Saturday morning?
Yes. Yeah. Then you got the sprint. So you got the sprint race. 3 to 4 in the morning.
I don't care for sprints. Do you?
I think they're all right. They don't really show much about the drivers. No. They don't add more depth to the drivers.
No pit stops or anything, is it? So it's nothing. It's just like a race to the finish kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, unless it rains and the weather drastically changes. But yeah, you're right. It doesn't add more value to the race. To be honest, it's sort of I'd much rather. Okay, put it this way: would you much rather watch free practice or would you watch a sprint race instead?
I know what you're saying. But I think it's just like the football. It's all money making, isn't it?
Of course it is.
More viewers.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Shit, really.
Because that's apparently the way they want to make it. They want to make it shorter races because of attention span, because of the younger generation. So it's a bit shit. But anyway, so yeah, sprint race is 3 till 4 a.m. on Saturday, and then the race itself on Sunday is 7 till 9. So. Good timing. I can get up and watch that live and whatnot. But yeah, we will be back at some point on Sunday evening to discuss all things Arsenal, all things Premier League, and Formula One. So thank you so much for being here, Stevie. Send us out, please. Stay safe, stay alert.
Boom, boom, boom. Dum dum dum. Wow. Do 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 do. Sweet wee. Do 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 do. CC. Arrivederci. Love it. Goodbye. Come on, Arsenal. You gunners. Got it.